What? My head hurts. Where am I? What happened? You finally woke up. Waiting for so long. Beginning to worry that you might never wake up. What did you do, Willie? It's a talking dog! Are you? What? My neighbor's dog, Fluffy. Neighbor's dog, Fluffy. Good. Looks like she has forgotten everything. Oh, no. How'd you come up with such a lousy name like Fluffy? Besides, you don't even have a neighbor. But I still think he looks like a Fluffy. Wait, what do you mean by no neighbor? Have you lost your memories? Lost my memories? Wait, did I fall down the stairs? Then hit my head? Huh? Some reason I seem to remember losing my memories before. Does that even make sense? Well, maybe you are a little confused after hitting your head. People sometimes think that they remember some weird stuff after memory loss. Let me tell you my name first. My name is Will. Sometimes I go by Willie. Willie? Yes, Willie. Willy Wonka? Never mind. You don't need to know my name anyway. You may just refer to me as your master. Master? Why is a dog my master? Not a dog. We're gods. How'd you know what I was thinking just now? Wait, did you just say that we're gods? As gods, it's our job to change the fate of the humans who ask us for help. Humans encounter all kinds of nonsense in their lives. Sometimes they pray to us, desperately hoping for some kind of miracle, is what they call it. I could help them, or I could just toy with them for fun. Whatever I do is up to me. Wait, stop babbling so fast. I don't understand what you're saying at all. I'm not babbling, you're just too slow. Never mind, you don't need to know too much about this either. All you need to be concerned about is preparing snacks for me every... What? Room downstairs next to the staircase is mine. I'm gonna put the snacks on the desk every time you bring them in. Wait. Oh. Willie. On one hand, it's kinda cruel to just wipe your memories like this and reverse roles, take the role of the master. On the other hand, I can kinda get why he did what he did. I don't like it, but I was just thinking how utterly kind of fucked up that this is so far, but it's in reaction to all of her nightmares about the letters, all the pain that everyone's going through. His plan was just to wipe her memories again. Start from scratch, but he'll do the letters now, I guess. I'm asleep. Unless there's something extremely important, do not wake me up. What do you mean by extremely important? If I forget to make the snacks, should I wake you? Well, don't bother me for something like that, obviously. And again, why would you want to wake me up if there were no snacks? Well, let me think. If it stops snowing, then you should wake me up. That might never happen, though. Okay, got it. Well, he just woke up after having passed out, so you should get more rest. Just stay in bed today. Need to get to work now. Oh wait, I still don't know what my own name is. Why did he leave in such a hurry? I really can't remember much else. How did I lose my memories? Oh well, I'll take over from here. Which is quite compulsive. It's given every letter an S ending. However, are these S endings really the perfect endings? Do so-called perfect endings even exist in this world? Like here. Like getting a good grade is a decent ending. However, Li Wen would never hear from Wen Xiaoren again afterwards. I'm afraid Wen Xiaoren has died. Could there be other possibilities between her and Miss Yang? Ooh. Humans are so annoying. You should try some other possibilities. In the future, I will enter the ending selection mode, selecting the brown button on the right side, on the right that has many branches. Then I may switch between my previous decisions at will. Maybe I can discover some new possibilities that way. Especially when the letters for the same person are somehow not in a straight line. You should pay extra attention in those cases. If not all of the new possibilities can be discovered so easily, some of them might be hidden really well. Some imagination might be necessary to uncover those hidden secrets. Oh boy. See, yeah, that's locked out. Oh. Just giving this a, corresponding ending. I keep forgetting. Get used to that. There was the... one of her bad endings. I think it was, yeah!
好想再见他一面。
Miss him so much.
为什么我要遭遇这样的事？
Jimmy! Jimmy's locked out now. What is Jimmy locked? Oh my. Oh my. Oh boy. That's nifty. Wow. That path is entirely locked out. It seems like in some cases we might have to go back and actually get some more endings in order for this to unlock anything else. God, this is interesting. Oh, yep, that kind of locked out everything else. Yeah, let's... God, wow, that just took on a... Wait. Oh, yeah. So we have to make Miss Yang break her promise in order to get a different ending here. And we also have to get another Jimmy letter to get a different ending here too. Fuck! God! Wow, this keeps on delivering in many, many ways. Holy hell. Let's start the adventure. Oh. Sadness could turn into happiness. Blood flows along with tears. The world is only wonderful with the sorrow one experiences. So, when we last left off, I should say, took a small break. When we last left off, we have a very distinct progression that we need to undergo here in order to actually finish off Li Wen's story. We now have Willie at the helm, taking on these letters. Which he did something very shocking. Overwrote Myth's memories because Myth was starting to have nightmares about all of this. Really a drastic move, but done with good intentions in mind. So let's see what happens. By the way, this is the first video that I'm doing with my new microphone. So hopefully when it all comes together, it sounds nice. Let's try and get into this now, shall we? Zuko had an exclusive and secretive business app for himself. Returning guests and people who had a referral would contact him directly on the app, instead of texting some ridiculous Morse code to the number on the card. He was good. Even if the targets had somehow learned that Zuko was after them, they would never be able to guess how they would be eliminated, nor when or where it would happen. It was like a magician. Business was good. He always referred most of the jobs to his associates. He rarely got his own hands dirty, and he never asked for a cut of the proceedings. He told me that he wasn't doing this for the money, but for information. Occasionally he would bring up some stories from the days when he had been working for Ray. A lot of them reminded me of my old days. He'd eventually made too many enemies as well, and had struggled for a while after leaving Ray. Once he was already too deep into the assassin for pay business, he realized that he had to give it his all to survive. He had also learned that information is more important than your kill count. Thanks to his connections, I was able to learn the identities of the people who had been after me. They were exactly who I had thought they would be. Yet it was practically pointless at this point. Right now my head was worth quite a fortune. If I ever showed up on the streets without a disguise, someone would be gunning for me in no time. I had to move to a new place every 3 months. All of the locations were scouted in advance for me by Zuko. He was the only one who always knew where I lived. Currently my hiding place was at Pitt Street 96. Funny enough, it was only 20 meters away from Pitt Street 99, the home base of the Black Dragon gang. Once I had even spotted Ray from the window. I heard that he had become the new big boss of the gang. Zuko not only helped me with covering my tracks, he would also take care of me when something else went wrong. Like today, I was lying in my bed with bandages on my legs and an ice pack on my head. Zuko put a bowl of hot porridge on the nightstand. I could smell a hint of overcooked rice. Then he sank into the couch and began to peruse the 3-month-old adult magazine that he had brought over. 4 days ago, he gave me 3 big envelopes. He wasn't the kind of person who would lecture me about justice, but he had his moral preferences. He would put his preferred target on the top of the pile. The first target was a greedy boss who had been stiffing his workers for 3 years. The second target was a paralyzed rich man who had been depending on his children. The third target was the boss of the newest gang recently established in the Bay Road area. I picked the last one. I had gotten into an epic battle which had led to this. Don't get me wrong, I was never some kind of vigilante assassin who had the moral high ground either. I had no right to be, nor did I want to. I was merely someone who had no family, no friends, and no reason to live. And being on the edge of life and death was the only thing that could still make me feel alive. I tasted the porridge and fell asleep again. Ring ring. I seemed to have heard the doorbell ringing. Then I heard the door opened and close. It seemed to be a package delivery. Mom? Package? Who would send me a package? I sprinted from my bed and yelled out Zuko's name. There was no response. I walked to the door of my arsenal. Every time I moved, I would turn the smallest room into a mini arsenal, enhancing it with a security door with a keypad lock. Since I was moving in a few days, I had already packed all my weapons and ammo. There was supposed to be nothing inside the room, but I saw an open delivery box just outside the security door. I entered the passcode. I didn't notice that there was someone behind me. Oh.
Someone grabbed my neck from behind and choked me. I raised my left hand and stabbed my finger toward the throat of my attacker. He did a backflip and got away from me, landing precisely on the window ledge. What? His lowered baseball cap covered most of his face. I could only tell that it was a slim, fit young man. You are indeed as good as they say. No matter. My mission is done anyway. See you never. That weird-sounding boy left me with his final word, jumped off the ledge, and disappeared. I had more important matters at hand than going after him. I went back to the security door. It didn't open, even though I had entered the passcode. The only explanation was that Zuko had locked the door from the inside. He must still be in there. Why would he do that? Boom! That's why. Boom! Enormous force blew the door off its hinges, twisted it and tore it into a million burning pieces that went flying toward me. Zuko was flying into the air along with all of the debris. His neck was bent at an inconceivable angle due to the explosion. I finally woke up in the ICU. I realized that my left arm and both of my legs were gone. Jesus. I knew that I probably didn't have much time left. The doctor still bluntly told me the other piece of news. The man that had been found at the scene was with me, was already dead when the ambulance arrived. Strangely enough, when the doctor said, "I'm sorry for your loss," I wasn't really feeling too much loss. Alicia. Damn, this girl has fallen far. Alright. I sat in my seat opposite the bathroom. The office felt empty. Officer Ji-yoon was still in the hospital. Lieutenant Kang had been sent to a detention center. I couldn't find out where. And Officer Min-jun was dead. I would never be able to see him again. So I was the only one left in Unit 4. Officer Min-jun had been murdered. His case had been turned over to the Superior Investigation Agency, with Unit 3 assisting. Unit 3 is suspicious. Yesterday, people from Unit 3 had come over and taken everything that belonged to Lieutenant Kang. Fortunately, I had been prepared in advance. I made some copies of some of Lieutenant Kang's case files and reports. I also kept the red folder with files on Unit 2. The files and reports were mostly about the cases that Unit 4 had solved. Nothing too important in there. Though I did read a lot of familiar words in his reports. My words. I finally understood why he had always told me to write longer reports. Probably had not just copied my reports. It looked like he had also done the same to reports written by Officer Min-jun and Officer Ji-yoon. I shook my head, put them away, and opened the red folder. After they had taken Lieutenant Kang into custody, I had read everything in the folder multiple times. I had learned that Lieutenant Kang had been the only surviving member of the old Unit 2. The files in the folder had the records of the details of Operation White Bay, which had been initiated by the previous police major. They also included every mission that Unit 2 had been involved with. Every mission had been a success except the last one, codenamed W620. It was during that mission that almost the entire unit had been taken out. Lieutenant Kang must have been reading these files as a memorial to his former colleagues. I can still remember him crying when I saw him looking at the documents. I could also remember Officer Min-jun telling me awkward military jokes while he was reading an encyclopedia of firearms. Awkward military jokes? It almost felt like everything had only happened just yesterday. I had fought so hard to be a proud member of Unit 4. I thought I would have a chance to spar with Lieutenant Kang every once in a while. I thought I'd be listening to Officer Min-jun's war stories, telling me of events that happened a long time ago on some distant islands. I thought that one day I would be fighting side by side with the three of them, all in the name of justice. It never occurred to me that day would never come. It had been 3 days since Officer Min-jun was murdered. I heard that they had found an unrecognized Glock 43 in Lieutenant Kang's home. They had also found his fingerprints on the gun, and the barrel matched with the rifling twist patterns they had found on the bullet inside Officer Min-jun's body. The time of death had been determined to be noon of the day that we found his body. It happened to be the time when we had finished taking a drug dealer's statements, and Lieutenant Kang had just left the station a little while earlier. However, Lieutenant Kang had offered no alibi for himself. How could Lieutenant Kang have possibly done something like this? It must have been something he couldn't reveal. If only I could find out where he had been during that time. So far, that was all the information that I had learned about the case. I had tried seeking out Lieutenant Kim multiple times, expressing my wish to help out as much as I could with the case. Although I knew that being a member of Lieutenant Kang's unit, as well as a teammate of Officer Min-jun, I didn't have any right to be included. As long as I could help Lieutenant Kang, I was willing to do anything, no matter what. However, Lieutenant Kim only handed me all the inconsequential chores of Unit 3. He wouldn't even tell me where Lieutenant Kang was being held. I was afraid that as far as they were concerned, still allowing me to come to the station was already special treatment for me. I couldn't wait any longer. Yeah, that's right, justice time. I had made a decision. I was typing on the keyboard while peeking at the makeup mirror on Officer Ji-yoon's desk. I saw through the mirror that someone from Unit 3 had just entered a 4-digit passcode to open their safe. The Criminal Investigation Division, every unit had their own safe to temporarily keep classified documents. As Lieutenant Kang's case was still under investigation, there must be relevant documents inside Unit 3's safe. Stealing classified documents would be something that was way beyond rule-breaking. If I got caught, I didn't even know what kind of punishment would be waiting for me. As soon as I remembered Officer Min-jun's death and Lieutenant Kang being framed, I knew it was something that I had to do. This would be my justice. 7 p.m., the last person in Unit 3's office wing, Lieutenant Kim, had finally left. I stayed in my seat and kept typing on my keyboard for another 5 minutes. I didn't stop until I made sure the entire floor had no other people, and then I walked over to the safe of Unit 3. There was a basket of candies on top of the safe. I opened the door. There was nothing inside. There was nothing in the safe. Lieutenant Kim had opened the safe earlier before he left. Maybe he had taken everything inside with him? I went back to my seat, defeated. What else could I do to help Lieutenant Kang? Who else could help me now? Buddha could help you. Alright, I should go see Officer Ji-yoon. Yeah! I hurried to the hospital, but I didn't get to see her. The nurse told me that she had checked out and left the hospital earlier that day. But I didn't have a phone number to contact her. Damn it, was there nothing else I could do? Please, Buddha. Please guide me. What should I do? Chung Gun-min. The professional? Well, this seemed in relation to Alicia. Oh. Well, let's see what happens here. Oh, our clock's blue this time. I felt a big hand patting my back. Hey, kid, what are you doing over here? I heard the footsteps coming toward me, so I stood straight in front of the safe, pretended that I had been trying to take some candy from the basket. You were giving me too much work, so I wanted to take some candy and relax a little bit. Ah, sure. How about we go take a bath? Should be even more relaxing. It was already after hours. The spot in the station was quite crowded. Lieutenant Kim was soon chatting and laughing with the other people that were hanging around. I stayed in the corner of the spa and didn't join the others. I remember the time when I was in the spa with Lieutenant Kang, admiring his many muscles. Maybe it was because of the steam from the spa, but I felt my eyes watering up. The door didn't open, even though I had entered the passcode. The only explanation was that Zuko had locked the door from the inside. He must still be in there. Why would he do that? I screamed his name at the door. He yelled from inside. It's a bomb! I'll get rid of it! Run! However, there wasn't enough time. Boom! Enormous force blew the door off its hinges, twisted it. Ouch. 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 Bad. How many endings are we talking? We're talking a lot of endings. All of them are very likely bad. Oh, also bad. That's bad, but we'll see what this does for Alicia. Get away from there! There's a bomb! Zuko screamed and ran toward me. He reached his hands out, trying to pull me away from the locked door. Whoa! I was forced with the door off its hinges, twisted it. Oh, Jesus. Ouch. Worse. Do nothing. Bad. Wow, we are struggling to get any more of Youngmin's endings. Get away from there, there's a bomb! Zuko screamed and ran toward me, with his hand out trying to pull me away from the door that I had just opened. I caught a glimpse of a box on the floor of the empty arsenal. Then boom! And then we died. Okay, let's try this. See where this gets us. Before I could enter the passcode, I heard clear footsteps coming in my direction. I had no time to check who was coming, so I snuck back to my seat. I took another peek at the mirror on Officer Ji Yun's desk. I happened to catch Lieutenant Kim's eyes looking right back at me. I immediately looked away in a panic, lowered my head and continued writing the non-existent report. Lieutenant Kim walked past me and into the bathroom. Bad. Zuko grabbed me from behind and dragged me away from the door that I had just opened. Bad. Lots of bad. Lots of bad. The door didn't open as I had hoped. That was strange. Had I misremembered the passcode? No, not possible. I recorded the passcode yesterday. I even checked twice today when someone else was opening the safe. The last person to use the safe was Lieutenant Kim. Did he notice my plan and change the passcode? I went back to my seat, defeated. What else could I do to help Lieutenant Kang? Who else could help me now? Oh right, I should go see Officer Ji Yun. Didn't get to see her. Nurse told me that she had checked out and left the hospital earlier this day. Didn't have a phone number to contact her. Damn it. Help me, Buddha. You're my only hope. Somebody grabbed my neck from behind and choked me. I raised my left hand and stabbed the finger toward the throat of my attacker. Backflip. Got away. Lowered baseball cap covered most of his face, so I could only tell that it was a slim and fit young man. You're indeed as good as they say. Hey, too bad I'll have to kill you today. Weird-sounding man wielded 2 knives and lunged at oh shit. Picked up a fruit knife at the table and tried to block him. We were quite even at first. Then somewhere on the street I heard what sounded like an explosion. My eyes involuntarily drifted to the window. I suddenly had a bad feeling. A split-second distraction had given my opponent a chance. He stabbed his 2 knives into the artery in my neck, clean and swift. Had my end finally arrived? Shit. Bad. This is unique. Okay. That's bad, but this is another Alicia ending. Zuko wasn't in the arsenal, nor was he in the apartment. Somewhere in the street, I heard what sounded like an explosion. Ran downstairs, I heard people screaming and crying in agony. There were injured people everywhere I looked. The source of all the suffering was a small, square game crash. Thanks for that. Really? You're gonna do this to me after all this? Oh, bless autosave for dumping me right back into this. Thank fuck for that. Explosion, people screaming and crying in agony. There were injured people everywhere I looked. The source of all the suffering was a small square that had just been wiped out. Food carts that sold beef balls were all gone. A dark radial scorch mark was left on the concrete in the middle of the square. In the center of the darkness, there was nothing. There was nothing left. Oh. That's an improvement because we didn't die. Open the door, there's nothing inside. Alright. Oh, is this S? Did we accidentally S? There's a stack of files in the safe. I quickly flipped through them. They were exactly what I had been looking for. Before I could find out where this Lieutenant came, where the lieutenant was being held, I heard someone walking in my direction. Quietly closed the safe, hid the files under my jacket, and snuck into the bathroom. In the men's bathroom, there was a stall that had a window to the outside. It wasn't too big, but it was enough for an adult like me to climb out. And the back door of the station was not far away from the outside of the window. I opened the door to the stall and stepped on the toilet lid when I heard a deafening scream. Meow! Then I screamed myself and fell to the floor. The bathroom door opened. The person who had just come in was no other than Lieutenant Kim. For a moment I even suspected that he had seen through my plan to steal the files the whole time. Oh. Well, there he is. Lieutenant Kim pulled me up from the floor and took the files away from me. Then he said in a lowered voice, "For the sake of us having worked together for a while, I won't tell anyone about what happened today." I thought Lieutenant Kim would be saying this in an accusatory tone. When I looked up at his face, I realized that he was actually smiling. Oh. Why would he be smiling? I couldn't figure out what he was thinking. I could feel a chill down my spine. I was going to say, that's either one of two things. It's either, Lieutenant Kim was dirty all along, and he's letting you go by the grace of his not murdering you, or Lieutenant Kim is good all along, and he's letting you go for the sake of justice. Zuko grabbed me from behind and dragged me away from the door. Oh, Jesus! Boom! Enormous force blew the door off its hinges, twisted it, and tore it in a million burning pieces that were flying toward us. Zuko blocked most of the debris for me. His body had become almost unrecognizable. Oh, Jesus. I was holding my hand so tight when he died. Zuko was gone. There was no funeral. A couple of his body handlers took care of everything. Oh. Cleaners. Yeah. Do you have red one? First question to whomever answered the door is, would you like some flowers? We have white chrysanthemums. The answer must be, do you have red ones? How many would you like? One. Sorry for your loss. Right now, our body bags and backpacks. Oh, that's handy. Oh, ran into a professional by accident. Oh, no. It's, or the old John Wick dinner reservations. During the night of the full moon a few days later, I opened my fist and examined my palm under the moonlight. Zuko had given me one last small present. He had been hiding it in his hand before stuffing it into mine when he died. It was a small metal part that he had taken off the baseball boy's bomb. Oh, revenge. Before I even tried to enter a passcode, the door of the safe opened by itself. Nothing but a note inside. It read, "Mind your own business." I went back to my seat, defeated. What else can I do to help Lieutenant Kang? Who else can help me now? Alright, I should go see Officer Ji-Hyun. Right to the hospital, didn't get to see her. She had checked out, left the hospital earlier that day. Didn't have a phone number to contact her. Damn it, is there nothing else I could do? Please, Buddha, please guide me. What should I do? Bad. Nothing inside. I wonder. That's still S ranks. So that means that we can. Okay, just for this last. Okay, enter the passcode, open the door. Nothing inside. Bad. Nothing in the safe. That's bad. Oh, that's red. That's orange. That means Carlos is unlocked now. That means we gotta do something with Spotty. Which means maybe we have to go back and do more endings here? The big meow makes me think that we have to do something with Spotty. But now, we can finally revisit Carlos! What you up to, brother? I sat on the bottom bed of the only bunk in the tiny room. I held my head in my hands, thinking about the most baffling question of the moment. Why was I in prison? About half a day ago, 2 policemen had arrested me on the street. Put me in the patrol car and brought me straight here, Hong Kong Central Prison. No one would answer any of my questions, and they beat me up whenever I showed any resistance. Then they just threw me inside this empty room. There was nothing in here except a bunk bed, wooden desk, sink, and a toilet. Didn't even have a window. Suppose this is what they called a jail cell. Cell 28. Open up. The door opened from the outside. Someone came in. Right, it must be a prank by Ren and the guys. They're probably just trying to give me a good scare. Must be getting me out now. But the person that came in had a pale face whiter than the wall. A pair of lips redder than blood. They were also wearing a strange long robe. This seems weird. It was a ghost. I've always been afraid of ghosts since I was a little kid. I jumped onto the bed and hid under the blanket, trembling in fear. Get out. Your bed is the one on top. Don't lie on mine. How dirty. I heard a soft voice from outside the blanket. It actually sounded like a human. I climbed out of bed and stood aside, watching the new person change into the prison uniform and wash himself. He seemed to be right at home. Soon the scary ghost became a short young man with a clean haircut and an innocent-looking face. He was my cellmate, Hotaru. Though we had just met, Hotaru was a really easygoing guy and immediately told me everything about how he had ended up here. Hotaru was from Japan. He had a long-term girlfriend from China. The only problem was that the girl came from a very prestigious family. They didn't approve of Hotaru. However, they still kept seeing each other in secret. They would fly across the sea every once in a while just to be together. Eventually, they realized that they would never receive her family's blessing, so they decided to elope. Fortunately, just when they were finally ready to run away together, the girl was killed in an accident. Hotaru was devastated. Being so far away in Japan, he didn't even know what had really happened to her. He came to Hong Kong and tried to talk to the girl's relatives and friends that he knew, hoping to piece together the clues. His efforts finally paid off. In the end, he learned that one of her family members were responsible for his death. She was merely collateral damage in a vicious power struggle. Hotaru wanted to avenge her death. He didn't have any power, any connection to this distant land. He had to seek help. Remembered a professional assassin he had known in Japan. He was famous for his creative ways of eliminating targets. Some people referred to him as the Magician. He also had a strange hobby, old adult magazines. What? Zuko. Hotaru was able to find out that the Magician happened to be in Hong Kong at the time, too. However, hiring him required lots and lots of money, which Hotaru didn't have. Hotaru began to do everything he could for money. I wonder if Alicia is going to be carrying on in the name of the Magician, in the name of Zuko. Inevitably, he dabbed in some illegal activities. Eventually, he was caught and thrown into prison. He still wouldn't stop. To him, the prison was just another society, not unlike the one outside. It was populated by plenty of residents with all kinds of different values. It wasn't just the guards or the warden. Even some of the prisoners might have unusual and powerful backgrounds behind them. Hotaru hustled among these people. He was willing to do everything and anything for a profit. He smuggled contraband. He traded information with the prisoners. He gambled with them. He bribed the guards, complimented them, sometimes even sold his own body. Oh. Hotaru said that as long as he could get his revenge, he didn't care about himself at all. He began to choke up. He was so angry after hearing his story. He was also feeling both admiration and sympathy toward Hotaru. If I were in his shoes, I probably wouldn't be able to do what he had done. Fortunately, I had no more than a few $100 on me, and that was all I could give him for now. He's hustling you. I believed every word Hotaru had told me. Next day, during lunchtime, I was mocked relentlessly by the other prisoners. Son, you should be thankful that you only had a few $100 on you. Told you he was gonna fall for it. Hurry, give me my 100! What kind of story did he tell you this time? Deceased parents? I don't know what he said. It's not entirely made up either. Here, 9 guards out of 10 here played around with him. Oh. I was so angry that I had dropped my spoon and ran back to my cell. Hotaru was sitting on the bed with his legs crossed, making a pyramid out of poker cards. You lying bastard, give me back my money! Hotaru paid me no attention. He just put 2 more cards on the top of the pyramid. Mini TV was playing a Japanese prank show near his knees. The sound of laughter came out of the TV right on cue, as if they were mocking me, too. I stepped forward and turned off the TV. You monster! I dragged him off the bed angrily. The pyramid of cards collapsed and they scattered all over the floor. The air in the cell seemed to have suddenly frozen. People began to gather right outside the cell. A tall, strong guard walked in through the crowd. I recognized him. He was the one who had taken my mugshot when I came in and searched my belongings. I seemed to recall that he was from the UK. Everyone called him Morgan. So I had to tell Morgan what happened, but he punched me right in the face. Oh! Hotaru wasn't completely lying, at least. Everyone in here might have some kind of unusual background behind them. Why was I so unfortunate? Not only did I end up in prison, I also have to live with such a bastard of a cellmate. Lord, was this part of your trial for me? Carlos. Not part of my trial. Oh, man. That's a good question. Why are you in prison? What is this now? 5 years wasn't really a long time. But I looked down on Hong Kong from the airplane window. All I could remember was some fractured memories about this city. Everything I could remember about Hong Kong seemed to be connected to a coffee shop called Maple House. Oh? However, when I finally found the old address of the coffee shop, there was only a real estate agency at the location. I tried asking around the neighborhood, and the people told me that the matron of the coffee shop had died in an accident. They also said a few regular customers had tried to keep the shop open in his name. The landlord had refused to extend the lease. That meant that I didn't really have any reason to stay in this city any longer. I felt a little disappointed. Nevertheless, instead of wandering the streets aimlessly, I might as well go back to the UK sooner. The UK. My mental condition hadn't been very stable recently. I suffered an attack here. My doctor friend half a world away wouldn't be much help. For example, just earlier. No. Actually, I couldn't even tell how much earlier just earlier was. As far as I could remember, it had been a clear night. I was walking out of the alley in front of the coffee shop while I pulled my blazer tighter around myself. It was quite dark in the alley, except for the pale white moonlight shining down from above. I unintentionally looked up at the moon. Then all of a sudden, I felt the moonlight getting whiter and brighter, and it was almost blinding. After a deafening moment of buzzing in my ears, I blacked out. When I woke up again, I found myself lying in the bed of the hotel room I had booked. On the other side of the same bed, another man with a scruffy face and long hair was lying down, snoring loudly with no inhibitions. Who was this man? Had he brought me back here? How would he even know that I had been staying here? I nervously rummaged through his luggage. Besides a camera and some daily necessities, I also found a passport and a work ID. Apparently he was a policeman from Korea. Maybe he was a tourist. Perhaps he was just a good Samaritan who had decided to return the lost item he found by the road. After I calmed myself down, I realized that I was still wearing the same clothes as before I had left. Wrinkles on my clothes, and the germs on the bed from the other man, were both making me feel quite uneasy. In any case, I couldn't call for room service before he left, so I decided to get changed first. Changed into my clean clothes and walked into the main room. I sat down and sunk deep into the sofa couch. The digital clock on the table said that it was almost 10 p.m. on Tuesday night. I decided to think about something before the man woke up. I used to want to become a doctor. Is this? But I never did. The reason was that, while I had been studying for the qualification, I discovered that I had a serious condition. It was called selective cognitive dissonance. Well, it was a hereditary disease. A person who suffered from this disease would selectively manipulate their own memories about people and events based on their own psychological cognition. Well, simply put, their own brain would tamper with their memories without their realizing it. When I first found out that I had this condition, I also realized that all my memories might not be accurate or even true at all. I was terrified. I couldn't stop myself from second-guessing the truth of my own memories. I was in the UK at the time, and I had a psychologist friend. He helped by treating me with hypnosis therapy. The treatment allowed me to forget the unpleasant memories from my past. He told me that I was an entirely different person after the therapy. Afterwards, I had a few good years. There were some side effects, too. I couldn't remember what my parents looked like, nor where my home was. Because they were part of your traumatic memories that you got rid of. For the past 2 years, there had also been more serious reactions, too. Some fragmented, horrifying images would suddenly flash before my eyes, and I would feel severely sick or even pass out. My friend told me that the hypnosis might be wearing off, or that my condition might be deteriorating. Whatever the case, we decided to do another session after I had finished my trip and returned to the UK. I was staring at the TV opposite the couch when I suddenly sensed an inexplicable chill spreading over my entire body. It felt like the entire room was spinning. I could hear nothing but an overwhelming buzzing in my ears. At the same time, a number of unimaginable visions were swirling through my mind. I could feel it. I could feel the crack opening in my brain. Oh no. Something sticky, rotten, and pitch black was coming out of a cocoon. I was having a relapse. I held my arms tightly around myself. I knew I was about to completely lose control. Lose control? Oh no. There was a knife on the nearby desk. I could see my own reflection in the blank TV screen. My face was gradually overlapping with some of the gruesome visions in my head. It was too late. I remembered. I remembered everything. Parents' faces, my home, my hellish childhood. Buzzing in my ears at the spinning were morphing into excruciating pain, pinching every single nerve in my body. Those bloody memories, and the cruel truth that they had implied, were pushing me to the brink of my sanity. If I was on that edge, my illness would take over my mind and push me over the cliff, and then history would repeat itself. I do not want to become someone I hated again. I do not. I cannot. I refuse. I must stop myself. I picked up the knife on the desk and stabbed myself in the throat at the perfect angle and the perfect depth. I could not afford to leave anything to chance. Goodbye, Dad, Mom, this world. I just hope that in my next life I could be a good, healthy child. unknown. Well, Anina, it's fairly obvious who this is. It makes sense now. It makes a lot more sense now. Wow. Admittedly, I'm not familiar with this. It makes sense how they explained it. It feels weird that they actively played out a scene with his father being the abuser, but there weren't any clear hints of this until the awful rapist told us that we had it, and then who knows what they're expecting us to believe with that, but now that we've pretty much confirmed that they were right all along. So obviously, as he went on and started dealing with his selective cognitive dissonance, he got some treatment for just the fucking trauma of his past. Moved on. Again, I'm no mental health expert. Barely even an expert of my own mental health, but I'd argue that one treatment and then going without for a few years, that's bad. You should be seeing someone regularly. Certainly more frequent than once every 2 or 3 years. Not just get some hypnosis and then come back when your hypnosis meter gets low. It's just questionable mental health practices here, but okay. First things first. Oh, that is bad. There's no good place to put a knife here. There's no good place to put a knife here. I angrily dragged him off the bed, grabbed the knife on the desk, and held it against his pale and tender neck. A pyramid of cards collapsed and they scattered all over the floor. How did you get a knife? The air in the cell seemed to have suddenly frozen. I just wanted to scare him, and surprisingly, it worked. Taro said he would give me my money back the next day. However, the next day, not only did I not see a penny of my money, I was moved into another cell. Well, that's a plus. Since then, I would often find my food tickets done. Oh. Gone. Or my uniform thrown in the toilet, stained with filthy My new cellmate was a huge meathead. I didn't dare to complain to anyone about him. Taro never returned my money, but somehow I found myself missing him a little. Oh, so that's a bad outcome. I could see my own reflection in the blank TV screen. Faces gradually overlapping with some of the gruesome visions in my head. It was too late. I remembered everything. My parents' faces, my home, and my hellish childhood. Buzzing in my ears with a spinning worm morphing into excruciating pain, pinching every single nerve in my body. Those bloody memories, and the cruel truth that they implied, were pushing me to the brink of my sanity. I was on that edge. My illness would take over my mind and push me over the cliff. Then history would repeat itself. I did not want to become someone I hated again. I did not. I cannot. I refuse. I must stop myself. I pulled the window open. I looked down to the ground 15 floors below. Oh no. I stepped over the bars and fell to the... Oh! I could not afford to leave anything. Jeez. Wow. Goodbye, Dad, Mom, this world. Just hope that my next life be a good, healthy child. Well! Blank TV screen. That didn't change anything. Okay. Oh. Let's scold ourselves. Policeman was no longer asleep. He was standing at the door to the bedroom. He was holding his head in his hands and looked confused and neurotic. It looked to me as if I had just done something despicable to him. However, I was the one who was really losing control. The image of him screaming "monster" at me lingered in my brain. What? Those horrifying fragments of memories were beginning to become even clearer. I couldn't control myself. I chuckled, then laughed, and then screamed. I felt some changes happening inside me. Something not quite right. To make sure I could still control myself, I lunged at it. Whoa. We tangled together, hitting each other as hard as we could with our fists and feet. I needed to relieve what was piling up in my mind in the most primal way. I pushed his head away with my hand and slammed it into the TV screen. His head shattered into pieces. I didn't win the fight. The black barrel of a gun was pushing up against my left temple. The person who was holding the gun had the same face as the policeman. I could see something different, something much more frightening. You're a monster. Oh, Jesus! He pulled the trigger. Those were the last words I ever said. Those were the last words I ever said in this world. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh. Wow. We seem to be stuck on Carlos's endings. Policeman was no longer asleep, standing at the door of the bedroom. He was holding his head in his hands and looked confused and neurotic. It looked at me as if I had just done something despicable to him. There was still no clearer indication about what actually happened here. However, I was the one who was really losing control. The image of him screaming "monster" at me lingered in my brain. Those horrifying fragments of memories were beginning to become even clearer. Couldn't control myself. I chuckled and laughed and screamed. I felt some changes happening inside me, something not quite right. To make sure that I could still control myself, I picked up the knife on the desk and lunged at him. Oh, jeez. I stabbed him in his shoulder. Suddenly he dropped his defending hands and became extremely quiet. Next I saw his eyeballs twitching and he mumbled something. I had a bad feeling, so I tried to pull the knife out. My right hand was caught. I looked at him again. I couldn't believe my eyes. The person standing in front of me had the same face as the policeman, but I knew they could not been the same man. It turned into something different, something much more frightening. You're a monster. I twisted my arm with superhuman strength and pushed the knife I was holding into my own throat. And those were the last words I ever saw in this world. Did we actually take Kang Baekya to a fucking hotel room or something? What the fuck? What if we do nothing? Okay, that's something. Didn't look like I was going to get my money back. What else could I do? Should I hit him? No, I couldn't do something like that. Paced across the small yard for 20 laps, so I realized that I would have to spend my time with him day after day. I felt even more depressed. I think there was some other way to teach him a lesson without violence. Why was I so unfortunate? Not only did I end up in prison, I also had to live with such a bastard of a cellmate. Lord, was this part of your trial for me? What? The image of the woman on TV, hysterically screaming monster, lingered in my eyes. Why? Why was I having such a strong reaction to this word? A few blurry visions were beginning to come together in my head. Some of them were starting to become even clearer. There was a room without lights. A man who looked like a doctor. Oh no, and me as a child. It was a monster, and his actions destroyed my sense of self. When we clashed with each other, only one could survive. I felt some changes happening inside of me. It felt so good. So a group of people had been tolerating a smoker in an enclosed space, and the smoker was suddenly killed by a falling meteor. I picked up the knife and walked into the bedroom. There was one tiny detail that had been bothering me for a little while. I opened his luggage again. I confirmed that the necessities did not just belong to just one person, neither were they new. There are multiple pairs of underwear in different sizes. My confused memories failed to fill in the missing pieces. Did we just invade this guy's hotel room while he was sleeping? I pushed the knife against his throat lightly, thinking that I would conduct an interrogation on him once he woke up. Oh, I didn't know that his instinct to danger was much stronger than I could have ever expected. Click. Before I knew it, the black barrel of a gun was pushing up against my left temple. Mr. Policeman, who just woke up, was on the other side of the gun. I could tell from his expression that he wasn't afraid. That was truly frightening. Drop the knife. You're a monster. He pulled the trigger, and those were the last words that I ever said in this world. Bad. Let's trigger hints. Okay, so that's obviously a bad point. Let's do this. Looked at the fruit knife and I had an idea. I decided to swallow my anger, for now. Later that night I was lying on the top bunk, waiting with my eyes open. Taro turned in his sleep. Squeak! Bang! The entire bed shook violently and I heard a panicked scream from underneath me. Looked down, feigning ignorance. Bottom bunk only had a metal frame left. There were a few broken pieces of wood on the floor. The screws that I had loosened up earlier were lying innocently in the corner of the cell. Otaru sat on the floor in shock, still processing what had just happened. Ha you sucker! Back in the orphanage, there had been a fat little kid who would always bully me. I once taught him a lesson in the same way. Smart, Carlos. Although I was scolded by Alicia, it still felt really good. I needed a week to fix the bottom bunk. Meantime, Hotaru was temporarily moved to another cell. Being in the cell alone was quiet. Too quiet. I used to sleep on the top bunk in the orphanage. Alicia would sleep on the bottom one. It wasn't a sturdy bunk bed. Alicia would have to hold the bed every time I climbed up. Otherwise it felt like the bed would immediately topple over. Oh, how I wish that I would find her sleeping down there when I woke up. I flipped the wet pillow, lay my head on it again, and closed my eyes. I had to seriously start thinking about what to do next. The image of the woman on TV, hysterically screaming monster, lingered in my eyes. Why? Why was I having a strong reaction to that word? A few blurry visions were beginning to come together in my head. Some of them were starting to become even clearer. There was a room without lights, a man who looked like a doctor, and me as a child. He was a monster, and his actions destroyed my sense of self. When we clasped each other, only one could survive. I felt some changes happening inside me. It felt so good. As if a group of people had been tolerating a smoker in an enclosed space, and the smoker was suddenly killed by a falling meteor. I left the hotel. Walked in the middle of the street under the pale moonlight. Smart move. I used to believe God was real when I was a kid. But if he or she were real, none of those things would have happened to me. People like me, we didn't really need a God. We just needed a dagger. I decided to stay in Hong Kong. There must be a lot of people here who could use a dagger like this. A dagger like me. Wow! You have changed, my boy. Yep. It's him. Oh my goodness. Selective cognitive impairments. Long-term hypnosis therapy. It's Jack. It's the same Jack that Alicia met.
결코 이렇게 되진 않을 거야.
You have a name, Jack. And this is in Elizabeth Croydon.
하나님, 나를 도와주세요.
So now he's an assassin. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But here we are. No new messages. I've got to do some magic with Spotty to get through this. But we can now take on this. I think we'll do that next time. This has been an adventure. Thanks for watching. See you next time.